The moon hung heavy in the sky, casting an eerie glow over the desolate streets of the city. I shivered as I made my way through the dimly lit alleyways, my heart pounding with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. I had heard the rumors, the whispers that had been circulating for years about the old opera house that stood at the heart of the city. Tales of a phantom that haunted its hallowed halls, a specter that brought both beauty and terror to those who dared to cross its path. As I approached the grand facade of the opera house, a chill ran down my spine. The building loomed before me, a majestic yet foreboding structure that seemed to exude an air of ancient mystery. Its once ornate architecture had fallen into disrepair, its windows shattered and its walls marred with the passage of time. But despite its decaying state, there was a lingering aura of elegance that clung to the building like a fading memory. I pushed open the heavy wooden doors, my heart racing as I stepped into the dimly lit foyer. The air was heavy with the scent of must and decay, and the silence was almost suffocating. The soft echo of my footsteps seemed to reverberate through the empty space, a stark reminder of the grandeur that once was. I ventured further into the opera house, my footsteps echoing down the narrow hallways as I explored its labyrinthine corridors. Faded tapestries lined the walls, depicting scenes of opulent performances and jubilant crowds. But now the only audience was the dust that danced in the shafts of moonlight that streamed through the cracked windows. As I continued my exploration, a faint melody reached my ears, carried on a whisper of wind. It was hauntingly beautiful, a mournful serenade that seemed to tug at my very soul. Guided by the ethereal music, I found myself ascending a grand staircase that led to the upper levels of the opera house. The door to the main auditorium creaked open before me, revealing a scene that sent shivers down my spine. The once lavish theater was now a shadow of its former self, its red velvet seats torn and tattered, its stage covered in a layer of dust and neglect. And there, bathed in the pale moonlight that filtered through the cracked ceiling, stood the figure that had haunted my thoughts for weeks. The Phantom. He was a spectral vision, his form obscured by the tattered remnants of a once elegant opera cloak. His face was hidden beneath a porcelain mask, frozen in a perpetual expression of tragedy and despair. His fingers danced across the keys of a grand piano that stood on the stage, his melody both haunting and hypnotic. I watched, unable to tear my gaze away as the Phantom poured his heart and soul into the music. It was as if his very essence was woven into the notes, his emotions echoing through the empty theater. But beneath the beauty of the melody, there was an underlying current of darkness, a sense of malevolence that sent a shiver down my spine. As the last notes of the melody drifted into the air, the Phantom turned to me, his mask glinting in the moonlight. His eyes, deep and piercing, bore into my soul, and I felt as if he could see every thought, every fear that churned within me. "You have come," he whispered, his voice a spectral whisper that seemed to echo through the empty space. "You have heard my call." I could only nod, my voice caught in my throat. "Stay," he beckoned, his hand outstretched toward me. "Stay and witness the true heart of the opera." Hesitation gnawed at me, but an irresistible curiosity compelled me to take a step closer to the stage. As I did, the world around me seemed to shift and morph, the dilapidated theater transforming before my eyes. The seats were now filled with an audience of ghostly figures, their faces frozen in expressions of rapt attention. The stage was alive with a performance unlike any I had ever seen, a mesmerizing spectacle that transcended time and reality. But as the performance reached its climax, a darkness began to seep into the edges of my vision. The music grew discordant, the once beautiful melody twisting into a cacophony of chaos and despair. The audience's faces contorted into expressions of agony, their eyes hollow and lifeless. I turned to the Phantom, my heart pounding with a mixture of awe and terror. "What have you done?" His laughter echoed through the theater, a chilling sound that reverberated through my very bones. "I have shown you the truth," he declared, his voice dripping with malice. "The beauty and the horror that coexist within the heart of the opera." As the darkness consumed me, I felt a cold hand close around my heart, squeezing tighter and tighter until I could no longer breathe. The world around me crumbled into fragments and I was left alone in a void of eternal night. When I awoke, I was outside the opera house, the first light of dawn painting the sky with hues of pink and gold. My heart still raced with the memory of the Phantom's haunting melody, the beauty and the terror that had woven its way into my very being. I stumbled away from the opera house, my mind reeling with the knowledge that I had come face to face with a force beyond comprehension. The phantom of the opera house, a spectral being that had once been a part of the music and the magic, now lingered as a twisted embodiment of both art and horror. And as I walked away, the echoes of that fateful night continued to haunt me, a chilling reminder that the line between beauty and terror is often more fragile than we dare to imagine.